Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. English Daily, your favorite place to grow your English through real, natural conversations. I'm Luna.
And I'm Leo, and today we're talking about one of the most well-known proverbs in the English language. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, you've probably heard this one before. Maybe a teacher said it, maybe a parent, maybe that one relative who turns every small problem into a deep life lesson.
Right. You say, I can't find my phone, and they say, where there's a will, there's a way. And you're thinking, I just need my phone, not a philosophy class.
Exactly. But honestly, when you slow down and really think about this proverb, it's actually quite powerful.
It is, because it doesn't promise that life is easy. It doesn't say every problem disappears just because you want something badly.
What it really means is this: when something truly matters to you, you start looking for a way. Maybe not a perfect way, maybe not the first way, but some way.
And that's what today's episode is all about. Not in a heavy motivational speech style, not wake up at 5 a.m. and conquer the world.
Please, some of us are still negotiating with the alarm at 7.
Very honest. Today, we're keeping things human, practical, and easy to connect with.
This is a B1 to B2 level conversation, so you'll hear natural English, useful expressions, and some strong vocabulary words you can actually use in real life.
Words that help you go beyond basic English, so you can describe real moments with more detail, more feeling, and more confidence.
And after the conversation, we'll break down the key words in our Word Tour segment with simple, clear examples.
So for now, just listen. Relax. Imagine you're sitting with two friends, not taking an exam.
No pressure, no scary notebook, just friendly English.
Let's go.
So Leo, let's start at the beginning of this proverb, the word will, because I think most people jump straight to the way. They want the plan, the steps, the guarantee.
Right, we want life to hand us a complete map. No confusion, no wrong turns, no embarrassing mistakes.
Basically, we want GPS for life. In 200 meters, turn left past your first failure.
Then continue straight through mild panic. Very accurate.
But real life usually doesn't show us the full road at the start.
No, most of the time you only know one thing. This matters to me.
And that's where will begins. It's that quiet inner decision, the feeling that says, I don't know exactly how yet, but I want to try.
That's what it means to be determined. Determined means you've made a strong decision to do something even when it's difficult.
And a determined person doesn't always feel confident. They don't always have a perfect plan, but they have a strong enough reason to keep going.
I like that, because sometimes determination isn't dramatic. It's not standing on a mountaintop with music playing in the background.
No slow motion jacket blowing in the wind.
Not every day. Sometimes determination is just opening your laptop again after a really bad day.
Or practicing one sentence again, even though yesterday you felt embarrassed.
Or sending one more application after getting no reply for weeks.
The will comes first. Then the way becomes a little clearer, step by step.
Like walking through fog, at first you can't see the whole road, but when you take one step, the next step appears.
You don't need the whole road to begin. You just need enough light for the next step. And for English learners, this really matters. You might not know exactly how you'll become fluent.
But if you're determined to improve, you can start with one small action, one episode, one phrase, one sentence out loud. One small action opens the door.
And maybe that's enough for today.
Now, there's something people often confuse with willpower, and that's luck.
Ah, yes, luck.
Luck is interesting. Sometimes life gives you a pleasant surprise. Something happens unexpectedly, meaning in a way you didn't see coming.
Like finding money in an old jacket pocket.
That's not just money, that's a gift from your past self.
Past Luna was very generous.
But yes, lucky moments do happen. You meet the right person, you find the right video, you hear the right advice at exactly the right time.
And those moments can help. We shouldn't pretend luck doesn't exist.
True, but luck is not the same as willpower.
Exactly. Luck might help you once, but willpower builds something that actually lasts.
Think about any skill, let's say cooking. If you've never cooked before and somehow make a perfect dish on your first try, that might be luck.
Or the ingredients were feeling generous that day.
Very supportive ingredients. But if someone practices every day, burns things, adjusts flavors, learns what works, and then makes something delicious, that's different.
That's not luck. That's progress. And progress usually happens gradually, slowly, step by step, little by little.
That's the part people often forget. They're waiting for one big lucky moment. But most solid things are built gradually.
Confidence grows gradually, skills grow gradually, even courage grows gradually.
Except hunger. Hunger grows very fast.
Hunger is not gradual, that's immediate.
But with English learning, growth is usually slow. You might not feel it every single day, and then one day, unexpectedly, you understand something that used to confuse you completely.
Yes. Or you hear a phrase and think, wait, I actually know that one. That feeling is wonderful.
So enjoy lucky moments, but don't depend only on them. Luck may open one door. Willpower helps you keep walking through many.
Now, willpower is important, but it shouldn't become pressure.
Yes, because some people hear willpower and they imagine someone shouting at themselves, work harder, never stop, no rest, no excuses.
That sounds like a very angry poster on a gym wall.
In very large capital letters.
But that's not what real willpower looks like.
Real willpower needs support. It needs rest. It needs patience. It needs encouragement. And honestly, that is reassuring.
Reassuring means something makes you feel calmer or less worried, so it's reassuring to know that you don't have to attack yourself into improving.
You don't have to shame yourself to make progress. Pressure might push you for one day, but support brings you back again and again.
Think of willpower like a small lamp, not a whip. A whip forces you. A lamp helps you see.
When you're tired or confused, you don't need more shouting. You just need enough light to find your next step.
And sometimes that support is very simple. Sleep, a good meal, a short walk, a friend saying, try again tomorrow.
Or tea.
Tea solves at least 40% of emotional problems.
Minimum. But seriously, when people only pressure themselves, they often quit because the goal starts to feel too heavy.
For English learners, this is reassuring too. You don't need to punish yourself to improve. You need a routine that supports you. Listen often, make mistakes safely, come back without shame.
English should not feel like a punishment.
No scary notebook chasing you.
Exactly. Friendly English. Calm English.
Now, support is important, but movement matters too, because sometimes we wait too long before we start.
Yes, we wait for the perfect moment, perfect mood, perfect confidence, perfect everything.
The perfect notebook that's too beautiful to write in.
You open it and think, no, this page is too clean for my messy ideas.
The notebook becomes decoration.
But here's the truth. Help often appears after you start moving, not before.
When you take one step, you see things you couldn't see from the distance. Maybe you find a better method. Maybe you realize the problem was smaller than it looked.
And that first step should be deliberate. Deliberate means done on purpose, with intention, not by accident.
So, not maybe I'll improve somehow, someday, but today I will practice for 10 minutes. That's a deliberate choice.
I had a moment like this. I wanted to read more books. For months, I kept saying I should read more, but nothing changed.
The books didn't jump into your hands.
Very rude of them. No teamwork at all. But then I deliberately placed one book beside my bed and told myself just 2 pages a night.
Just 2.
Just 2. But because it was easy, I actually did it. And slowly, 2 pages became 5. 5 became 10.
The way appeared because you made the first step smaller.
Sometimes we don't need a bigger dream. We need a smaller first step.
For English learners, one deliberate action today. Listen for 5 minutes. Repeat one useful sentence. Write one comment in English. Say one line out loud. One small action opens the door.
Now, even when people start, fear can stop them before they really begin, because sometimes we say no to ourselves too early.
Yes, the world hasn't even rejected us yet, but we've already rejected ourselves.
I can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. It's too late for me.
Or, I can't do that. My English isn't good enough, so I just won't speak.
And we feel reluctant. Reluctant means you feel unsure, uncomfortable, or not fully ready to do something.
Like when you know English will help you, but you still feel reluctant because you're afraid of making a mistake.
And so you hesitate. Hesitate means you pause before doing something because you feel nervous or uncertain.
Like when your hand is hovering over the send button, and suddenly that small message feels like a formal government document.
Your thumb is under enormous pressure.
Poor thumb. That hesitation is normal. It doesn't mean you're weak.
Sometimes you hesitate because the thing matters to you. If you didn't care, you wouldn't feel nervous.
That's a kind way to see it.
But we can't let hesitation become our permanent home. Visit it if you must, but don't move in.
No furniture, no curtains, no emotional rent contract.
Exactly. So if you feel reluctant to speak English, that's normal. And if you hesitate, don't call yourself weak. Just breathe and start smaller.
One sentence, one question, one comment. The goal is not to remove fear completely. The goal is to act gently while the fear is still there.
Now, when people start acting, they sometimes notice that other people seem more talented, and they compare themselves.
Ah, the talent problem.
Talent is real. Some people learn languages quickly. Some people speak naturally from the beginning. We should be honest about that.
But talent alone is not enough.
Talent gives you a strong start, but it can't carry you forever.
At some point, everyone needs practice, and that's where being persistent matters.
Persistent means you keep trying even when something is difficult, slow, or frustrating.
And persistent doesn't mean perfect. A persistent person isn't someone who never fails. It's someone who comes back after failing.
That's important because many people quit after one bad day,
Or after one embarrassing mistake.
or after comparing themselves to someone who looks more talented. But persistence is quieter. It says, today wasn't great. I'll return tomorrow.
Persistence is returning to practice, returning to the goal, returning to yourself.
For English learners, some people may learn faster, but that doesn't mean you can't improve. A persistent learner who practices calmly and regularly can go very far.
Even if they make mistakes, even if they miss a few days, they return.
And that return is where real progress is built.
But even persistent people hit moments where plan A simply doesn't work.
And this is where the proverb gets really interesting because a way doesn't always mean the first way.
This is my favorite part.
Why?
Because so many people believe that if the first plan fails, the whole dream is over.
But the first plan is not the same as the final goal.
Exactly. If one road is closed, you don't park the car forever and start a new life on the roadside.
Hopefully not. This is my home now. I live beside the traffic cone.
Very dramatic. In real life, you look for another route.
But emotionally, it's not always easy. When plan A fails, we can feel vulnerable.
Vulnerable means emotionally open or exposed. Like people can see your effort, your fear, your disappointment.
That feeling is real, especially when other people know you're trying. Speaking English in front of others can feel vulnerable. Starting something new can feel vulnerable because people can see you before you're good at it.
That's the scary part, but it's also the brave part.
Exactly. And when plan A doesn't work, a little optimism helps.
Optimistic means hopeful that something good is still possible, even when things are hard.
But not fake positive, not everything is perfect, when clearly everything is not perfect.
Sometimes everything is wearing one shoe and looking for the other.
Very specific, very true. Real optimism says, this is hard, but maybe there's another way.
For English learners, if one method isn't working, it doesn't mean English is impossible for you.
Maybe grammar books alone don't work for you. Try podcasts. Try short videos. Try speaking with a friend. Try another way.
The goal isn't to follow one perfect method. The goal is to keep finding a way that actually works for you.
And that brings us back to the proverb.
Where there's a will,
There may be another route,
another method,
another teacher,
another chance.
another small beginning.
So maybe the way doesn't appear before you start.
Sometimes the way appears because you start.
Slowly.
Gradually.
And sometimes unexpectedly.
Full circle.
Beautiful. Before our word tour, let's leave you with one simple question.
If there's something you care about, don't only ask, is there a way?
Ask, what is one way I can try today?
Because one small way can change the whole story.
All right, let's slow down and visit our word tour. Word tour. These are the key B1, B2 words from today's conversation. Use them when you talk about goals, fear, progress, and those moments when life doesn't go as planned.
Word 1. Determined.
Determined means you've made a strong decision to do something even when it's hard.
Example. She was determined to improve her English, so she practiced every single day.
Let's repeat. Determined.
Determined.
Word 2, unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly means something happens in a surprising way, without warning.
Example, I unexpectedly understood a difficult English sentence and felt so proud.
Let's repeat. Unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly.
Word 3. Gradually.
Gradually means slowly, step by step, little by little.
Example. My confidence in speaking English grew gradually over several months.
Let's repeat. Gradually.
Gradually.
Word 4, reassuring.
Reassuring means something makes you feel calmer or less worried.
Example, it was reassuring to hear that making mistakes is a normal part of learning.
Let's repeat. Reassuring.
Reassuring.
Word 5. Deliberate.
Deliberate means done on purpose, with intention, not by accident.
Example. I made a deliberate decision to practice speaking for 10 minutes every morning.
Let's repeat. Deliberate.
Deliberate.
Word 6, reluctant.
Reluctant means you feel unsure or uncomfortable about doing something.
Example, I was reluctant to speak English in front of others because I was afraid of mistakes.
Let's repeat. Reluctant.
Reluctant.
Word 7. Hesitate.
Hesitate means to pause before doing something because you're nervous or uncertain.
Example. Don't hesitate to ask questions. That's how you learn.
Let's repeat. Hesitate.
Hesitate.
Word 8, persistent.
Persistent means you keep trying even when things are difficult or slow.
Example, a persistent learner keeps coming back even after bad days.
Let's repeat. Persistent.
Persistent.
Word 9. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable means emotionally open or exposed, like people can see your effort, your fear, your disappointment.
Example. Speaking a new language in front of others can feel vulnerable, and that's okay.
Let's repeat. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
And our final word, optimistic.
Optimistic means hopeful that something good is still possible even when things are hard.
Example, even after her first plan failed, she stayed optimistic and found another way.
Let's repeat. Optimistic.
Optimistic. And that's the end of today's word tour. 10 powerful words you can use in real conversations starting today.
Today we talked about willpower, effort, luck, hesitation, persistence, and the idea that the first way is never the only way.
So if you're working on something important right now, including your English, remember this. You don't need the full road today.
You just need one honest step. And if that step feels small, that's completely okay.
Small steps still move your life forward.
Tell us in the comments, what is one thing you are determined to improve this year?
And if this episode helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with another English learner who needs to hear this today.
Take care of your English.
And take care of yourself.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Luna. Thanks for listening to Mr. English Daily. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Mr. English Daily. Learn English through real conversations.